Hey y'all, this is King, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make terrain props with the maker pen out of tubing. So, first thing that you're going to want to do is open up your watch, go to your backpack, and then under tools here, you'll have, in the middle, there's the maker pen. Hit use, it'll spawn in front of you, and if you have it favorited, reach behind your back. Now flip it upwards so you can see the palette menu here. Now here, you have open palette, and you can open up to your palette. Your palette is where we're going to be finding this. Now, we're going to be using tubing for this tutorial. So what I would recommend is tube height ratio of 100% here on the second page under your settings on the maker pen. I preferably use tube faucets of 10, but if you're under an ink crunch, use 6. Okay? Smooth tubes for these is good. Fixed tube width, I would turn that off for a more natural look, but that's a preference really. Don't rotate while moving. I'm gonna have that disabled for this tutorial because it makes it easier in my opinion. And then the tube size, I would use 25 for doing this first part. So the first bit we're gonna do here is for terrain props, just a simple rock that you would find on your terrain, right? So the way I would do it is I preferably smoke, slate, and charcoal make perfect colors here. Now the materials I would recommend is dirt, sand works well, and the brand new rock material works well as well. So the way I would do it is put down your dirt. If it's very small like this, scale it up. Scale it from the middle, okay? And then just do something like this. Just randomly, kind of. It takes a little bit to do it, but once you're done, it'll look good. And then I preferably change the material almost every other one. And if you want it to make it look more realistic, make it so that the ones that are the same material, like these are the dirt material, put them next to each other. Don't have it be too much of a pattern, because then it starts looking not as organic in my opinion. But definitely, it's up to preference. You don't have to change the material, but changing the material does add a little bit of texture into it almost. And there you go. That right there is a very simple rock for your terrain. If you want it to be bigger, go to scale and then just raise it up, like this. That is a rock that you could put easily into anywhere for your terrain. Now for the next part of this tutorial, I'll be teaching you guys how to do like crystals in a cave. So to do this, I would recommend smoke, slate, or charcoal, similar colors. And then gravel is very good for this, right? So just place this down and then slowly just build like a little base where you would see a crystal. Scale it up, mix around with it, be creative with it. No two crystals in the world are all the same, so you can do some variety here. Right. Now, for the crystal itself, I would use glossy plastic, personally me, and then go to smooth tubes, disable smooth tubes if you would like, or keep it enabled and go to, oh yeah, make sure you're using tube faucet size of 6 for the crystal. I would use smooth tubes on, tube faucet size of 6, and then for the color, do like a pretty purple, so like for an amethyst, you could do like purple like this. So what I would do is you start off here with your base, right? Make sure your position snap is set to 5, and then like that. And here's where your fixed 2 width comes into play, right? Bam. Now scale it down so you can fit onto your stone here, alright? And this crystal is going to be like a bit shorter than I would have liked. You can add more to the base. And then obviously you can clone it around. Mere cloning will add a more organic look to it. And then you can scale it down as well. Like this. So it has more variety to it. Variety is what makes the crystal as unique. Make sure the sizes vary. Don't make it predictable, really. Oh yeah, and make sure you're editing it, configure it, hold uncap style, enable that. It'll give it like a shinier look. You see the differences between these here? This one kind of looks more, it doesn't look as shiny on the last one here. And then, bam, you can move this down. Obviously the edges, you would have that, you know, surrounded by more rocks if it was in a cave environment. What I also would do here is see how this cluster's here and it kind of looks empty here. Just do a larger, just straight up. Because you don't have to use the same for all of it. Here's our straight one. Scale it down. Just poke it in like that right there. And then let me make sure these are merged. Keep in mind these are tubing. I would recommend making them decorational, otherwise the hitboxes could be a bit wonky. Rotate it if you have to, or add more to the base. And once you put it here, you got yourself some little neat little crystals. You can scale it up, scale it down. Hey guys, so if you want to make a bush for your room, what you're going to want to do is make sure you're using the shape ribbon, so, and then either the color peridot or the one above. For your material, we're going to be using dirt, which is on the first page right here. Now go under your maker pen settings, tube size of 8 centimeters in my opinion, and make sure you have uniform shapes off and smooth tubes off. And then what you want to do is kind of just scribble and kind of like this. If this is a low ink bush, of course you could do branches and stuff, but if you're on an ink crunch, this is what I would typically do. And then you spin around it, whatever side seems to be the most flat is what I would recommend to be the bottom of your bush. So kind of like that. Typically it's the side that you were looking at while making it. And bam, you got yourself a simple bush. And just to show you what it would look like with the other color. Now, I would use this color if your map is a brighter themed map. Typically, I lean more towards this. Alright, now, for the final part of this video, we're going to be using tubing, and preferably, in my opinion, change your tube faucet size to 10, but if you're under an ink crunch like earlier, do 6. Now with 10, turn on smooth tubes, make sure you have uniform shapes on, Use a position snap 1 or 5. I'm going to be using 5 though. Now we're going to be making mountains here. So, now for your shapes, for your color, use slate in my opinion. And for your material, rock would work, or dirt. That's what I would recommend. I'm going to be using rock though. So, with this method, make sure you connect nearby tubes on. Do like 3 little strips here, okay? And then just do it for 3. So each one, I would recommend having 3 sides to it. Notice how I do like 3 things? We're going to make 3 different little lines, right? And this is going to be the basis of our mountain. Now we're just going to connect them with our hands here. In a position that slightly resembles a mountain, right? And here we're just going to do the cloning game, almost like this. And just slowly clone it. And these are mountains that you could use this for anything. Far away terrain, maybe even close up. Also, you might want to do your settings, and then change your position snap down to 1, just for more exact detailing. And then just slowly build this all together, and eventually you'll have a very good looking mountain. Alright, so once you're done, drop your maker pen. Now for this terrain here, I didn't make it a full 360, just because I'm going to be using this terrain as like a backdrop, so you're only going to be able to see one spot of it, right? So what you're going to want to do is go to the clone tool here, and clone this like this, okay? And then recolor it. Now, this is only if you want snow or like grass. If you want grass, you can go back earlier to the bush colors. You can do stuff like that. Just experiment with like the grass, dirt, all of those materials, and then colors. Peridot or the one above are perfect for grass in my opinion. But I want this to be a snowy mountain, so I'm going to be using mist or white. I'll be using mist. Now the colors that are perfect for snow, not colors, materials, sand or sparkly vinyl, or maybe even grip tape if I can find that one. There it is. I'll be using sand, I think. Actually, let's see. What do I like more? Yeah, let's use grip tape. Now scale it just a little bit. Make it slightly tinier, right? And then move it down on top of this so that there's snow covering. Like, and make it so it's not entirely snow covered. You might need to experiment just by going up and down with the scaling. Maybe you want to put it up just a little bit. In my case, I will. Like this. And then select both of them, merge them, scale them up. Right? Just scale it up.